Hey everyone, it's Green.emo, and today we're doing things a little bit differently. Every Monday, I'm going to be bringing to you a mini podcast about The Last of Us Season 2. Joined with me today is that guy, Jakey.
Hey, what's up, everyone? You probably know my intro already. And I'm just joining my sister, Green.emo, and we're going to be checking out The Last of Us Season 2 episodes weekly.
So, as you all know, as I am sure if you do follow me on all the socials and my YouTube channel, I am a massive The Last of Us fan. And so is that guy, Jakey.
Oh, yeah.
It's something we talk about constantly. So we thought, you know what? We talk about it all the time. Why don't we just stick it into a podcast so we can get other people's opinions as well? So we have just finished watching episode 1. And I kid you not, we were just going back and forth trying to figure out how this episode was going to pan out because they changed a few things, which was great. It felt like it was the first time we were in contact with The Last of Us Part 2. Like, we'd never played the game before. So I think maybe we should just start right at the beginning. So it starts off with just a continuation of the last episode from season 1 with Joel and Ellie basically saying, you know, have you lied to me? And Joel's just like, no, I haven't lied. So then they just walk off, and then we get to skip 5 years later, and we see Ellie having a little spar in the barn, which we thought was an actual fight, and then we realized it was just a little, training session. But yeah, they basically, the way they've done episode 1, we were discussing that they've done it in a chronological order. So some of the flashbacks that we see in the game, that we see later down in the game, even in the second half of the game, we get to see those flashbacks now.
I think they actually really done this really, really well, because I was wondering if they were just going to be following the core storyline itself and then showing us the flashbacks later on. But it seems like they kind of just scrapped the flashbacks and just gave us everything in the right order. And I kind of like that, just because, we you know what, with this game, you have to be in the moment. You really, really have to be in the moment. And when you have the flashbacks, it kind of throws you off a little bit. And I think that's why a few people had some issues with the second game, because of the way the whole game was kind of structured and such. But I personally really liked it, because some of the moments were really, really tense. So these flashbacks kind of brought it down a little bit and gave us some more context about that moment itself. But so far, episode 1, really, really good. I'm very happy with it so far. The acting is amazing. The casting is fantastic as well. I mean, I know some people had some, conspiracies about the actors and such, but I think it's really, really good so far. I mean, I'm just shocked with the way they handled the first episode. I'm just really, really shocked, because there's so much emotion, so much mixed feelings. All positive feelings, by the way, because, again, I'm a sucker for The Last of Us Part 2. I personally prefer Part 2 than Part 1, just by a little bit. But yeah, first episode, really, really good.
One of the really cool things that they did is give a bit more context to a lot of things. And I think that's one of the ways the series differs from the game. So, especially for people who have never watched the game or played the game before, and this is their first time being in contact with this franchise, the series does give a little bit more context to some of the things that we may have read a little bit about in the game with notes and such, or just kind of piecing things together, such as at the beginning. So for those who had played the game, we knew that Joel had killed Abby's dad. Jerry in the hospital.
Damn.
Cold blood, done, dusted, right?
Clean.
But for a lot of people, they don't know that. They don't know who this Abby person is and why Abby is after Joel. And they give that bit of context right at the beginning of this episode. You get to see Abby at the grave with the rest of her crew. So we get to see Owen, Manny, Nora, Mel, the main ones from the crew. And it's just Abby just explaining that we need to go after Joel. That's her main thing. Everyone else is what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? They mention Isaac. So looking forward to seeing Isaac coming up soon because we know he is a badass.
I totally forgot about Isaac. I keep forgetting about Isaac, honestly. Like even when I play the games, I'm always so focused on like Joel, Ellie, Abby, and everyone else, and then I see Isaac, and I'm like, big man Isaac. Come on.
He is a character that because they don't mention him often, and then things happen, and then you forget that there is this source behind it all, and it's Isaac. So it's great that they mentioned his name at the beginning, and again left some mystery to it because we don't know who this Isaac person is. They're just like, we could go to Isaac, he could take us in, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the almighty Isaac.
Exactly. And in the show, he is going to be played by the same voice actor as well. So then we get to see Abby just kind of be like, yeah, cool, this is, let's do that. But at the same time, you get to see that side of Abby, that revenge, which is just like, we need to kill Joel. We need to go after him. And she wants it done slowly. Now, Caitlin Dever. I know there's been a lot of controversy about her being Abby because she is not hench. Which, it just counteracts, like, when the game happened, there was a lot of death threats and a lot of bad stuff that were happening because people just hated Abby and, just didn't like the fact that she was hench and that she was, like, this really strong woman in the pandemic. And now they've given us someone who's just, like, not hench, and people now still have a problem with it. She, from what we've seen of her as Abby, I'm sold. Like, from that one line where she just literally said, it needs to be done slowly.
Yeah.
I literally looked at Jacob and I was like, yes, this is Abby. This is it. This is it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really have much doubt in, like, her performance. Like, when they showed Caitlin Dever as, Abby, I was like, she actually looks like her. Like,
yeah.
There's no doubt about that. In terms of her acting, like, again, I wasn't really stressing about it because I was one of the people that wasn't really on board with Bella Ramsey playing it as Ellie. I was just one of those people where I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this. But now, since I've seen season 1, like she's just great. She may not look like Ellie that much, but like in terms of her acting, her performance and such, and how she portrays Ellie, yeah, she's Ellie. There's no doubt about that. And now, it's the same case with Caitlin Dever as well. She's Abby. Again, like what Green Dot Emo said, she may not be, hench or anything, but like her performance is right there. And I actually can't wait to see more of her as well because, yeah, things are going to get much more hot. Because obviously if you played the second game, you do get to play as Abby. And her moments in the game are very... I wouldn't say intense, but there's a lot going on with her storyline compared to Ellie because Ellie she just has one goal in her head, and that's just to go straight for Abby. But with Abby, we get to know more about Abby. We get to see her emotional side, her more her revenge side, her side with her family that she has, which obviously is not blood family, but is her team. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Oh man, the hotel scene from season 2, from episode part 2. Yeah,
it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, that's gonna be something. But that intro for the first episode is actually really, really good as well. Honestly, I didn't expect them to even show something like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I remember I saw something on Instagram. I saw the cross and I was like, oh no. Yeah, that's Joel's ending right there. But it's the complete opposite, which I'm actually pretty happy about, to be honest, because that scene does definitely give us more context about, what Abby's goals are. Because if they're just introducing her into the episode, and if you never played the game, yeah, it's just
yeah.
Like, who is this person? Which, you know what? I think it would still work, but it would only be in favor for the people that's actually played the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm liking the fact that they've kind of just making it a bit more universal friendly, I suppose. Like, yes, you've played a game. Do you want to experience that same game in the TV form? Not really. I want something new, something a bit more fresh. And even just from this first episode, I can see that this is going to be a much more fleshed out version compared to season 1. I feel like with season 1, they were kind of, I wouldn't say scared to kind of hit those main points, but I felt like they just wanted to give the storyline out. You know, they just wanted to give the storyline out and give you what the Last of Us is all about. But with this one, especially considering that they said that they're gonna make season 2, season 3, and I think season 4.
No, season 3. They just announced season 3.
Yeah, but are they making season 4 as well?
We don't know. They said that they had mentioned before that like, you know, it's one of those things where they could go on for a while. Yeah. But Craig Mazin had already said that it's not going to be like Game of Thrones where it goes past the books. Yeah. It won't go past the game. Mm-hmm. So whatever seasons we get, it's going to be part 2. Not part 3.
I definitely hope that it's just going to be season 3. I feel like if they do season 4, it's going to be a little bit dragged out. Mm-hmm. But who knows what Naughty Dog has to offer really with the next game if they do bring out next game, you know? Maybe they don't even bring out Last of Us 3. Maybe they just bring out.
Don't say this.
No. Maybe maybe they just bring out like a short expansion, you know, like Uncharted 4 Lost Legacy.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of talks about like Tommy and stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with not having Last of Us 3, but if they bring out some sort of game of Last of Us, I'll be okay with that because the ending of Last of Us 2 was just it was emotional as hell, man. Like how are you gonna reflect on that? Like,
well, you know, as Neil Druckmann said recently, like he always made sure that the game had an, you know, substantial ending. So it never had like a massive cliffhanger. It was an ending that if there was not another game, you could just play the game up to that point. Yeah. So we'll see what they do with that next. Well, I hope there's one more installment. Yeah. I feel like we need one more installment. And then that should be enough. It's a bit like Uncharted. Like we had Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. It was nice to have that last one to kind of wrap everything up a bit. Yeah. One of the other things as well, which I like that they did with this episode, very similar to what they did with the first season as well, which they had mentioned that like the first episode of season 1 was only supposed to be, I think it was like half an hour. So what? It was like half of that episode. And the problem was when they went to Warner Brothers was that we didn't see Ellie. Ellie wasn't a part of that first episode. Yeah. And then they were told, listen, you need to show Ellie. You need something to grip people in to be like, oh, okay, so this is what the show is about. And they've done a similar thing with this episode. They've shown us Abby. They've given us Abby. They've given us the story of why she's coming after Joel. Yeah. Unlike the game, you know, it longs it out. Yeah. So they've made sure they've hooked you from that first episode. So now you will continue because you want to see the rest of the.
Well, to be honest, the starting of Last of Us 2, it started with Abby, didn't it? But it wasn't the funeral scene. It was just her in the snow, wasn't it?
No, well, it started with like Joel and Ellie first, and with the guitar and everything. Yeah. But we did see, but we didn't play as Abby until like maybe an hour or so into the game. Yeah. But we didn't know who she was. Yeah. Even with the promos. Yeah. Everyone thought it was Ellie's mum.
It was just a cutscene. Yeah.
You know, we didn't know who she was, so that's the thing. That's the difference. Yeah. We were playing this game and not knowing who she was. We didn't know about the whole Jerry situation. Yeah. Like when we killed the doctor, we didn't know he had a name. He was just another NPC.
Damn. Do you remember when they were teasing, when they were releasing like the trailers for Last of Us 2, and they showed Abby in the forest with the Seraphites,
and she was like hung up, and everyone was like,
they were like, damn,
has to be Ellie's mum. You know, even when they showed us the artwork of the still-book and everything, and she had the blonde hair, and everyone was like, it's got to be Abby's mum. Yeah. It needs to be Abby's mum. I'm not Abby, Ellie's mum.
You see, these are the moments where I'm scared about the rest of the season, and I'm pretty much sure season 3 will be mostly focused on Abby.
Yeah, it'll be Abby's half of the story.
And I'm hoping that's the reason why they didn't make her hench in this game. Actually, but
it ran alongside each other, so it'll be the same. Yeah. It'll be the same. But
you see that scene with the Seraphites, and they show her arm and everything with the axe and stuff.
I don't know how they're gonna do.
Damn, what are they gonna do? Show her arm, and then it's like just bare skinny. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I don't mind her being skinny, whatever, right? Like, it's just that those moments in the game was significant because she was hench. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, she dominated everyone in that forest by herself, saving my man, or what's
Lev?
Lev, Lev.
See, they haven't even announced who's going to be playing Lev.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be season 3. Yeah, season 3.
Right.
Damn.
Okay. I know we've left it now for a while. It's been like 15 minutes. We need to talk about Joel.
Oh man, yeah,
We need to talk about Joel. Pedro Pascal. Let me tell you something. From just this one episode, he needs to win an Emmy. He needs to win. He needs to win all the awards on this planet. The way they have transformed Joel. So in the game, Joel is just like this hardcore, like, I don't care. This is getting done. But his, you know where his heart is. His heart is where his daughter is. And that's Ellie for him, right?
Yeah.
He's going to do everything on this earth to save Ellie. Now, the side of Joel that we get to see in the series is things that is like kind of like running through his mind.
Yeah.
And they're actually portrayed out on the screen, which I can only imagine would be difficult to do as a video game.
Yeah.
So doing it as a live action, you're able to showcase more of those emotions, say what you're probably thinking. And what we get to see of Joel in this is, first of all, it's 5 years later. My guy is looking old.
Yeah, that's the first thing I told you. Like, I was like, how is Pedro looking this old?
Pedro looks old.
Damn.
He doesn't look as tired, but you can tell he's getting on, right?
Yeah.
And he's you can see that, he's trying to keep his mind busy by like helping out with, the town with Jackson, with Maria, trying to get things fixed, etc. And just helping to run the town, right? Then you've also got the side of him that's not doing well with Ellie. Yeah. And we all know why that is, but everybody else in the town doesn't. And this is where they've inserted the therapist, which isn't a part of the game at all. And I don't think it's ever mentioned, even in like the little...
Yeah, I don't remember them mentioning anything about therapists. No. I was already told you, like, there's therapists in the pandemic. Like,
everyone had a life before.
Damn.
But having that therapist, we get to see that side of Joel that is actually struggling with his relationship with Ellie. And there's nobody else really for him to talk to about it. As much as Tommy is there, he's got his own little kid now. Like, he's not even a little baby, he's a little kid, which isn't in the game either. And literally, you get to see Joel and Tommy's child, and he just runs in and he's like, Uncle Joel, and I just literally turned to that guy Jake and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like crying. Joel did not get this in the game. He actually has like a family, and this is a part of him. It's his nephew. As much
closest to a child that he would have had, right?
Exactly, because he doesn't have Sarah anymore, but he has his nephew. I don't remember the nephew's name, if they even mentioned his name in the show.
I don't think so, no.
But all of this that's happening, he gets to talk about it to his therapist. The twist with the therapist now is that it's Eugene's wife. And Eugene is a character that we find out about in the game through like the little notes, the little weed house and everything, right? Which I believe we should be getting an episode about Eugene, because she mentions that she lost him like a year ago. So it's kind of still fresh. But we also find out that Joel killed Eugene.
Yeah, that took a shocker to me, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn. Because they didn't mention any of that on the game itself.
No.
Like, obviously, if you read the note, you know about Eugene, but like, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't read the note. I only know his name, but I don't remember reading what his story was about. That is kind of like Frank as well. Like, I know I read it, I just don't remember what it was about. But yeah, that was shocking.
And it's just another... Because there's this whole debate, right? There's this whole massive debate about people hating Abby because she killed Joel, right? But realistically, if you look at it realistically, you need to remember that as much as we love Joel, like, Joel is my heartbeat, but he wasn't there in this game and in this franchise. For the most part of it, there are no heroes and there are no villains, okay? It's just about survival. And Joel, what he did, he survived. But that meant people died in his path.
Yeah.
It was always mentioned in the game that he had a past and he did bad things. We just we weren't subjected to it. We didn't physically see it.
Yeah.
This is why we absolutely loved him. And when he did die, we were very extremely upset.
Yeah.
But if you look back on it, he shot Marlene in the face.
I know,
okay?
right?
He killed her point blank. Okay? She had no weapon. She was on the floor at that point. And he was just like, you're just going to come after me. And then killed her, right? He killed Jerry. Straight in the face. We saw that as well. Done, dusted. I know in the original game, you had the choice of killing him or not, but later on they changed it. You're killing Jerry, okay? We physically seen that happen. We physically seen Joel kill these people who were trying to actually do something good for the, you know, whether we have that whole theory of would have been good for humanity or not, forget it. Realistically, they were trying to do something good for humanity. And Joel killed them.
Yeah.
But yet, we still love Joel.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right?
But you know what? The thing is, with every sort of video game, right? And this is the issue with video games in general. We always play as the main character. We always have the option to, like, you know, kill people or leave them alone or whatnot. Like, we're always defeating someone with a weapon or something. You know what I'm saying? But this game is making you sit back on those segments and really think about, do you need to kill this person?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I love The Last of Us 2. Because people are not realizing that even though in The Last of Us 1, you didn't have a choice to kind of kill Jerry. But like when that game first came out, we didn't know who he was.
No.
We didn't know who he was. He was just a random NPC and he looked like an NPC. All right.
And I'm sure like 90% of us killed him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. 90% of us killed him. Right. But like, he was just a random NPC. He looked like a random NPC. And we just was like, oh, you know what? Let's take him out. Because why not? We felt angry because we were with Joel.
And we're trying to save Ellie.
Exactly. So now, with this game and with this season, it's making you think back to all those moments that you just killed all these random people, whether they were attacking you or not. Do they have a family? Do they have partners? Do they have a team? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the issue when it comes to video games in general. You play GTA, you kill these random people, right? Just for fun, but you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are.
It feels like the film Free Guy.
Yeah, exactly, right? You don't know who they are. And this is what this game is doing. It's bringing you back to your decisions. And just because we're playing as Joel and he's the character that we play as, like, that doesn't make him a good person.
Exactly.
We're the ones that make him a bad person. Because we kill these people. You know? Like, he's not a good person. I'm sorry.
No, he's not. And that's the thing. In this time that they're living in, like I said, there's no good person. There is no bad person. It's all about survival.
Yeah.
So Joel's gone through all of that. So why do we hate Abby?
Exactly.
That is the question. Why do you hate Abby? Because you've killed someone
Abby didn't do anything.
Killed Abby's father.
Yeah, Abby
came back for revenge.
As far as we know, before even The Last of Us 1 came out, we don't really know what's been happening. But as far as we know, she's been fine. She was just a little kid.
Yeah.
Same with her dad. Her dad is a doctor.
Oh yeah, they're just trying to help.
He's a doctor. He was literally working with the Fireflies, wasn't he? Or
yeah, he was a vet, I believe, or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They were looking for a cure.
Yeah. So they were the good guys, realistically.
Yeah.
But I know I'm gonna sound pretty harsh when I say this, but like, so much people dislike this game and dislike the decisions only because the main guy that you play as dies. You shouldn't dislike the game because of that. Yeah. You should really look behind these lines and see that, you know, Joel is not really a good guy. It's unfortunate to say, and it is very sad. Yeah,
because you play as him. He is your character and you love him for what he's done. But we have to remember there's consequences for actions. Yeah. And then the sad part about it is that everyone hates on Abby and then everyone loves Ellie and wants Ellie to kill Abby. But at the same time, if you've played the game, and I can't wait to see this play out in the series, that Abby got to that point where she could have killed Ellie. Yeah. It could have been done. It was there, point blank, done. Yeah. And she didn't, because she realized everyone that she loves is now dead. Yeah. What is there left other than her and Lev? And she's realized revenge, it doesn't help. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop this now. And she told Ellie to stop. Yeah. But Ellie didn't.
Nope.
But we'll get into that on another episode.
No, of course, yeah. And flipping Ellie, man, she just turns into a different person. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to...
I know, we could talk about this all day.
Yeah, this is obviously spoiler filled.
Oh, yeah.
You should have known this from the beginning. Yeah, I know, right?
Don't worry, I'll put in a little note.
It is what it is, you know. This game's been out for how long now? Like 4 years?
Oh, longer than 5? 2019?
5 years?
Was it
Yeah.
2019 or 2020 came out?
2021.
2021?
I think so, yeah.
2021. 2020.
It didn't come out the same year that PS5 came out.
Yeah, but it got delayed, remember? I think it was supposed to be out 2019.
No, wait. It came out before the PS5.
Yeah,
PS4. It came out in 2019.
Did it come out 2019?
Beginning of 2019. And then the PS5 came out at the end of the year. Same with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk came out at the end of the year. Oh, man.
No, because 2019, pandemic. Right. It came out 2020. Yeah. We're currently Googling. It was 2020. The game came out June 2020.
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
Yeah, see, June 2020, what did I tell you?
There we go.
Because I remember we took time off work.
So wait, it came out on PS4?
We were working at home. Yeah! It was the last game. It was the end of PS4 era.
Oh, sorry, PS5 came out at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Cyberpunk came out then.
Whiz.
I know,
running
time.
off, innit?
So it's 5 years old, coming up to 5 years old.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Joel. Let's get back to Joel. So Joel. So yeah, we get to see a different side of Joel. There's a bit more emotion. And one of the things that we pointed out as well is that, again, with the whole flashback situation, so we get to see the party that they had, which again in the game you don't see till... It was one of the first things they showed us when they were advertising The Last of Us Part 2, right? But then it's like one of the last flashback scenes you see later down in the game, just to kind of hit you in the heart again, right?
Yeah.
But this time we get to see it first. So it's happened, the party happens, you know, Joel comes over, pushes, what's his name? Sid or whatever his name is out of the way.
Yeah,
Seth out of the way, and Ellie just turns at Joel and has a go at him. And then...
Can I just mention, Joel pushed my man.
Yeah, it was a good flick.
Joel pushed him. My guy went off the screen. Oh my gosh.
Needs
In a church.
loudmouth dyke.
Dykes.
What did you just say? Fuck
Get the hell out of here.
Get your hands off me.
Hey, Seth. Enough. Let's take a walk. Come on for a walk.
What about them?
You blinked and he was gone. Flipping hell.
Pedro, that was a good push. Please.
Damn.
I hope they only filmed that once.
I know. Neil Druckmann was just like, you need to push him. You need to push him. And Pedro was like, aye.
Just one push.
Damn.
It was a good push though. But then after that, we see Joel on the porch, but Ellie doesn't go and speak to him like she does in the game. She just walks off. And I was telling that guy Jakey that like in the game, we don't see all of that, right? The first part of this game, Ellie and Joel do not see each other. The only time Ellie sees Joel is when he's literally about to get his head bashed in with that golf club, right?
Yeah.
In this episode, they see each other twice. Once when she's there cleaning her guns and stuff, and he comes in and he's going to change the guitar strings. And then the second time is obviously at the party, and then after the party on the porch. And I feel like the conversation, because within the game we get all the flashbacks later on, so it kind of reminds us and still hits us in the heart, and you still have that hate for Abby and you just want to, like, you know, get revenge and stuff. What they've done here is, again, given us a little bit more context but made us feel the emotion now, because I think that was one of the most important parts about the scene with the therapist, and listening to him talk and how he loves Dina and Dina loves him, and they're trying to work things out with Ellie and stuff. We see that side of Joel, and then we see how he tries to help Ellie because he still loves her. He still, you know, wants to be there for her. And she just pushes him away.
Yeah.
And we know what's coming next.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But they don't. And or for those who have not seen the show, they don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
So that's already planted the seed of that emotional state you're going to be in.
Yeah.
I already feel it. I feel it already, and I know it's gonna hit, and it's gonna hit different to the game, but it's gonna hit hard. It's a bit like the Sam and Henry part in the game. It hit hard, but the way they did it in the season 1 where you get to see Ellie and Sam before, when they have that conversation and she tries to rub her blood into his wound and say that, you know, she can fix him and everything. You know, they set it up. So then when the next part happens, it kicks you in the gut. Next week is going to be hard. I don't know how we're going to do this podcast next week.
Trust me, I know, right? But I think it was a smart move to include like all of these scenes that were flashbacks in the game beforehand, only because I feel like with a video game, a structure of a video game, you're more than likely going to be playing the game again. With the series, I think more than likely people are watching the series once, and then when season 2 comes out, they're like, oh yeah, this is season 2. We'll just watch season 2. With a game, obviously there's more achievements to that, you know, there's obviously trophies, there's the replay value, just experiencing the story again, maybe playing the game on hard mode or anything like that, you know. So there's more reason to play the game again. So they don't need to have that consistent reminder that Joel is Joel. We don't need to see the connection between him and Ellie until later on. Because when you bring it in later on, that's when you're like, damn, like, I miss Joel. We've been using Ellie, she's cool and everything. But damn, like, this was what we anticipated for Last of Us 2. But it's not what we got. You know what I'm saying? It's not what we got. And this is what could have happened if things were different. Damn. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Joel is his performance, like, Pedro Pascal was amazing in the first season. Like, you know, he once they casted him and you saw him, that first picture, like, it's a bit like Henry Cavill when you saw him as Superman for the first time. You were like, yeah, this is it. He was Joel. From day one, he was Joel. But the way this season has started, my goodness. Like,
it's very strong.
Troy Baker would be proud.
I know. It's very, very strong. Very strong. I'm glad that we saw Gustavo.
Yes, a cameo.
Yeah, I forgot his last name, but yeah, Gustavo, the composer for The Last of Us video games and also the composer for the season, or for series itself.
Yes.
It was nice to see that cameo.
Dina as well.
Dina was great.
Dina is amazing. She's a character I don't really like in the game. Like,
I'm looking forward to seeing more. Damn, I feel like playing this game again.
It's happening.
No, of course, yeah. To be honest, to be honest, I might just replay it after the season because I want to have my own feelings with the season 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to play the game and then be like, oh, why did they get rid of this part in the game? You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna play it alongside the season, but the way they've done it,
I want to be surprised,
and it's more in chronological order. So. It's
like
going to be difficult to play alongside it, but it will be a good thing to play afterwards and then see the differences.
Exactly. Just like how I forgot about Isaac. Like, I want those moments when I'm like,
you and Isaac.
You know what? It's the way he presents himself.
He's scary.
It's the way he presents himself in the game. He's just walking. He's like,
I know. He's just in the dark and just like, you know. What's his name as well? Jesse. Jesse was great.
Jesse was good.
And going back to Dina as well. Like, I like how they've given her a bit more context as well. Yeah. Because in the game, she kind of just shows up and then she's just kind of like, oh, Ellie's like, you know, best friend, side piece, whatever. Yeah. But in the show, you see that she has a relationship with Joel. Yeah. You know, and she wants things to work out between Ellie and Joel. Like, she's she's just a nicer character.
Yeah, it's nice that they've kind of rewritten her. I suppose.
Because she's not my favorite in the game at all. I'm gonna be honest.
She's I don't know. Yeah, she's alright in the game. I mean, there's moments when you have to cheer for her in the game because you know she helps out Ellie and such. Of course. You know, that's
it's
the
not
only.
That I hate her, but it's just she's not likable for me. Yeah. But yeah, Jesse was cool. And then just like Abby's group as well. Like again, like I said, good to see them, but. I know for a fact, like we were literally talking about it before we started this mini podcast, that like all of Abby's crew, right? You absolutely hate them in the first part of the game. And in the second part of the game, you like them because you understand them, right? Especially Manny. Couldn't stand him because he was the one that like spat at Joel and everything. But then you play in the second part and you're like, oh, Manny's actually quite cool. But there is one character. And again, I want to see how I hope that I have that same hatred for her in the game, in the series, because if they make her nice in the series, I'm not going to be happy. Mel. Mel is that one character you hate in the beginning of the game and you hate at the end of the game. Don't care if she's pregnant. Yep. I mean, she comes between Owen and Abby.
She's just jealous. That's all it is.
She's just
full of jealousy.
That third piece that's just in the way, you know?
Yeah. I just want to before we wrap this up, I just wanted to mention the ending of the episode as well.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone even noticed this, right? But like when we were seeing Joel with the guitar outside on the porch, and then the camera panned out and we saw these two like guys. I think they had like snipers or just binoculars or whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they were just looking over at Joel, and then they looked at each other and then they nod, and I was like, nah, that doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? I was telling Green Dot Emo that I feel like they're like spies, the traitors or something, you know, working with Abby and them. Lot. And then we saw the scene with Abby, looking over the town, and I was like, no, they're taking that into a different route. But yeah, I think we will talk a bit more about that next week, only because well, to be honest, we don't know what's gonna happen now from here.
Honestly, like we were watching this episode and we were just like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Can't predict it.
There's a lot that could happen and a lot that might not happen.
Yeah. The only cliffhanger is the little cordyceps.
The cordyceps.
Cordyceps in the pipe.
That was weird.
Stuff is gonna be happening in Jackson next week for sure.
That's sad.
Like
that is so. Imagine if like Joel dies because he gets bitten.
Nah, he gets bitten all the time in the game. He just respawns.
Damn. But yeah, yeah. Do you have anything else to say, or?
You know what? This could go on forever, but
I know.
You know,
we don't want to talk too much about the game.
No. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do like another podcast about the actual game. Maybe at the end of the season, and we can do some like proper zoomed in analysis between the series and the game. But
conclusion.
This has been season 2 of The Last of Us, episode 1.
Yeah.
Future Days.
Future
as
Days.
It was named. Like I said, we'll be bringing this podcast to you for the next few Mondays. So we've got six more episodes left. So we'll do it every Monday because we're in the UK, so we're gonna watch it on UK time.
Oh yeah, on a Monday.
Yeah, US time. Unfortunately, they put adverts in between, and I don't want adverts in between. I want to watch it nice and clean in 4K. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll be back next Monday for episode 2. If it goes the way we think it's gonna go.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be pretty rough.
It's gonna be a rough, emotional episode. So make sure you've got your tissues ready. But again, just want to say thank you to that guy Jakey for joining me again on this mini podcast.
No problem.
And I guess we will see you next week.
Yeah, and also let us know if you are enjoying this podcast, if you've reached this far into the video, just because if this is something you guys like, then we might consider like doing this for other stuff as well, like maybe some games that we play. Like I know Expedition 33 is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Indiana Jones is coming out for PS5, so we get to play that as well. Yeah, there's multiple things that we could be doing, you know, small podcasts on. So yeah, let us know if you like this episode in the comments down below.
And also as well, don't forget to follow that guy Jakey on his YouTube channel.
And follow Green.emo as well on her YouTube channel. She just reached 500 subscribers. I think she's a little bit above that now. So let's keep that grind going, you know.
Right, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening in and tuning in. Would love to see some of your comments in the comment section below. And we'll catch you all again next week.
Take it easy.